Hello, fellow hopefuls. Let's start with a question today. So tell us a story of a time that you went the farthest to save a few minutes. We'll give you a few minutes to post your answer in the comments. Hello, my name is Micah Hallery. I am a former pastor, a current teacher, and a future YouTuber. And this is a nugget today. Now, maybe it's because I'm Northern European, I'm Scotch-Irish, my wife is German, or maybe it's just, it's just a European thing or an American thing, I don't know, but I love efficiency. I love to be the most efficient, and I've gone through great lengths to try to make sure that what I'm doing is the most efficient way. Now, that's helped me a lot because I found very efficient ways to do things that are highly repetitive and saved a great amount of time, but I've also found it I've used it to kind of procrastinate and put things off. And, stop me if you've heard this, right? Let me know if you've experienced this yourself. But, I would save up all the errands until, I left the house and I could get them all done at once. Or I would, wait to clean up until I had enough time, and then I'd clean everything up. But what was happening was I was using my love for efficiency to actually avoid scary projects. And then when I put off all these errands, now I've got this big list of errands. Now it's an even scarier project. And it might be too long for the amount of time or the amount of energy that I have. And then, of course, I beat myself up for not getting them done, and so on and so forth. We all know the cycle. That's how that works. But maybe yours isn't efficiency. Efficiency is one of my... I finally had to get to the point where it's like, you know what? I can leave the house for one thing. I'm not doing anything else. I might as well just leave the house and go do that one thing, and then I'll come back. Now, when I only have an hour of free time in a day, which isn't all that uncommon because I teach school, and then I got to get out, and I've got practice, and I've got, youth group at night or whatever, and I've got just a little bit of time, then I need to be super efficient. But a lot of the times I don't have to be that efficient. So maybe you've got something else, though. Maybe your issue is, I'm going to wait until I feel better, or I'm going to wait until someone can help me, or I'm going to wait until it's just the right time of day so that I'm not annoying the person I got to call like right before close, that kind of stuff. The options are limitless on the excuses that we come up with in order to procrastinate. The problem is each of those things can be legitimate. They can be legitimate reasons for putting things off. Maybe you do need to wait until someone can help you. Maybe you really don't feel good enough to get that job done. How do we know the difference between unhealthy procrastination and healthy procrastination? Let me give you a little bit of advice. First of all, know the difference by how you feel before and after you procrastinate. So like, for example, if you're putting it off because you're scared, not because you need help, that's unhealthy. And then after, if you put it off and you feel guilty, that's also unhealthy. You've made the wrong choice. If putting something off because it might annoy the person you got to call, if doing that causes you to feel guilty afterwards, then it might be just an excuse, just a procrastination. And it's not an all or nothing deal. And I think that's what makes it so hard, is because people, especially people that have mental health issues, we're usually black and white thinkers. It's one way or the other way. And life doesn't exist in black and white. It exists in gray areas. Black and white are extremely rare. And so, true black and true white are extremely rare. And so, we've got to change our thinking and try to look for healthy and unhealthy. And, how healthy is it for me to procrastinate? How healthy is it for me to just go ahead and do it, even though I don't have the help, or I don't want to annoy that person, or whatever it is. So what do you do? That's how you can identify whether or not you're making the right choice. But how do you stop the procrastination cycle? First of all, avoid excuses. And I know that sounds way easier than it is. And if you deal with procrastination, that's not easy to just avoid excuses. But that is the first step. Because until you stop making excuses, you're never going to make any progress. Number two, if you want to put something off, okay, check your motives. Are my motives because I'm afraid, or are my motives legitimate? If I want to put off shopping until tomorrow because I don't get paid until then, that's fine. But, if you find yourself just not doing it because you're afraid, and excusing your procrastination, then that's unhealthy. So avoid the excuses. Try to determine whether or not your motives are healthy or unhealthy. And then if they're unhealthy, then just crash ahead. Don't think about all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. Just go for it. I remember one time I had to deal with the issue with the city. I was trying to get some paperwork figured out and I didn't know what to do and it was freaking me out. And so I didn't want to go. But then I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go. And I grabbed my keys and I stepped outside and started the car. And then I was like, I don't want to do this. But I told myself, I'm already in the car. I don't want to be inefficient. I'm already here. Let's get going. And yes, it was scary. And yes, I tried to panic. But because I was already moving ahead, it was easier to just follow the momentum than it would have been to start from scratch. So if you've got that momentary energy, go for it. Just go for it. And especially if you've already considered all the reasons why you should do it, then just go ahead. That you can use those to motivate you as you go. Now, that's not easy. Okay, we all know that's not easy. It takes practice. And remember, it's not black and white. When you fail, okay, you failed. That's not the end of the world. Keep going. Keep moving forward. Try again tomorrow. Don't hate yourself because you can't get it right. You will get it right. What you're really doing is training your brain to recognize that these things that are so scary are not actually dangerous. Because that's what's going on. Your brain thinks that, making those phone calls, filling out those pieces of paper, going and visiting the person, getting the job done, that they're dangerous. They're not. They're everyday things. But you've got to train your brain to think they're not dangerous, because procrastination trains your brain to think that they are. Because you keep putting it off because you're afraid. Your brain goes, oh, well, we've made a conscious decision not to do this because they're scary. They must actually be dangerous. So you've got to retrain your brain in order to not think of them that way. Well, that's it for today. Don't forget to answer today's question. What was something that you did that took you a lot of time in order to save just a few minutes? Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, post a comment down below, even if you just want to insult me. We all know everyone wants to insult me. Get it down there. And then share the video with others, because other people need to hear this as well. There's a lot of people out there that really struggle with procrastination. Help them out by sharing this video on Facebook or Instagram if you can. I don't know, Twitter, wherever you're at. Get this video out there. And not only does it help other people, it helps me too. It helps the channel grow. You can also join me on Instagram and Facebook. I've got accounts there. Go to my website, hopebeyondhype.com, and you can find links to my social media. And by the way, there's a link to that in the description. And that's today's Hope. See you next time.